So it is again, I've already started, like I streamed once today and it is still the 19th. It's Wednesday. I have been thinking about a lot of stuff today, like finally, okay, so I think one of the hardest things to admit is like I've been blowing stuff up all my life, right? I have been blowing stuff up all my life. Like I get upset and then I typically throw a tantrum and storm out. But it takes like I wait and I get pushed. Like I don't say anything and I don't say anything until I get pushed to a point to where I blow up. Like Elm comes out. That's the little person inside of me that throws tantrums who I love but is embarrassing. But that comes out and then I can't seem to like I don't want to say that I can't control my emotions. Well, I guess okay, I guess that's what I need to say. It's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's like I don't know if I guess it makes me feel a little bit immature because I can't control my emotions. I think my growth was stunted at a really young age, so maybe that is the case. I don't know. I know that I'm clearly not a professional person. Like I guess I don't act like professionals act. I don't think I want to. I'm okay with that. So I guess it's funny because I don't like I went from being a waitress to like I got sober and I was still waiting tables. And then my boss, we had a meeting and my boss was like, and I would lose my, see, that's the thing it's the weird thing is I didn't really lose my temper at work very much, but apparently when I came home, I was like losing my shit. And I don't really remember it, but I don't remember anything really, right? I don't, like I remember going to the store with Rylan, but I don't remember the trip there, right? And according to him, I would just rage all the way there, and I believe that to be true, right? I believe that to be true. So it didn't really, like, I didn't do it towards that particular employer, but I know he said one time during this meeting, he was like talking about how everybody had this goal. And then he got to me and he's like, and Dauneen, we just don't know about her. Dauneen's just Dauneen, right? And so I decided to go back to school. So I went back to school and I got my bachelor's degree. And, I think what I'm getting at is that I've never really had the time to like explore me. And like, I didn't realize that until I went back to school that like had a temper. And of course, I never even admitted it. Like, it was always everybody else's fault, right? Um, Even though I, like I do believe that people have treated me in ways that they shouldn't. I don't think that it's personal. I think that people just treat other people that way, is what I'm coming to. And also, it doesn't really matter. It was my reaction to it, right? And my reactions have always been so over the top, right? And just, um, and it's just, it's like but now I'm able to understand. Like, I never, like, I always thought when I was angry at these people that it really was their fault, right? Instead of realizing that I have control over my reactions, right? Granted, again, I do feel like there are times that I was being taken advantage of and I had a right to be angry. I just really need to learn how to channel that anger differently. Um, so I was thinking about that a lot today and just admitting the fact that like my responsibility in so many things in my life, because like I have blown shit up in paths. The one thing that I have going for me is I'm a really good worker, right? Because I blow shit up and I think it's just fear, right? I'm fearful of, well, first off, I've been surrounding myself with people that aren't like me. Like when I was waiting tables, I've never been able to I shouldn't say that aren't like me. I have never been able to like let my artistic self go, right? Like I've never been able to just be my artist. I've always had to be like, I mean, if you think about it, we work our jobs 40 plus hours a week, right? So I was waiting tables for 40 plus hours a week. Then I was going to school for 40 plus hours a week because I was working full time on top of that, plus going to school. Plus I was working a part-time job too. Plus I was being a single mom with a house that I owned, right? So there was a lot of stuff going on. So I never had the time to really stop and understand why I was so angry. I just kept going in that anger, right? And like it's like it'll kill you. I mean, something is eventually going to kill you. So I don't even think that that's a good analogy for it. It's just that, we do have such a short time. And and I'm not going to say that I've wasted all this time because I've accomplished a lot, even though I've been mad, right? Like I've accomplished a lot. I've taken my son to Japan, and although that was kind of a bust, I should have planned the trip better. But whatever, I did this, right? I did these things, and I took him to Mexico, and I've been to Europe, and I've been to Mexico. I mean, I've done a lot of things, so it's not like my whole life has just been. But the majority of those things have been driven by anger, which is really bizarre, right? I mean, I'm trying to see what I can do not being angry, and then I go and put myself in a position where I'm bound to be angry. Why I did that is beyond me. But it's kind of funny because I was thinking about it when, and it's funny actually. I was out doing something in the yard and I stepped in dog poo, right? And I'm like, damn it. And then I remembered like when all that stuff came down that day at work, when my boss pulled me into her office and I said, please, I need a minute, da, 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 right? And she did not let me go. She came after me. Well, that day when I got to work, I got there and per usual, I would be the first one there. Like I was always the first one in the office, right? And so, which it's neither here nor there. It bothered me because it started from the very first day, right? So from the very first day, it's like they were just like, here you go, baby bird, or here you go, baby fish, or whatever. Here you go, whatever, drown, right? But anyway, I'd gotten into the office that day and it was the first one there, thank God, because I looked down and there was dog poo all over my shoes. And not just on the bottom, but I had gotten it all over the sides of it. Like I don't know how I didn't smell it in my car. Right. So I was cleaning dog poo off my shoe in the morning and then my boss that happened in the afternoon. So I mean I forget I forgot that had happened on top. Like I mean I spent my morning at work cleaning dog poo off my shoe, right? And it's like I had and it wasn't just like that is one of my most that is a trigger for me. That it hurts my ear and it really annoys me. So I have to just not want to punch my dog in the nose right now. Okay. Anyway, but I had these waffle shoes, so it was kind of brutal. And then, and then to have that happen. So I mean, when it's like when I go sideways and stuff, I always am really hard on myself, and I'm like, oh, about my actions, but I forget what led up to that, right? I mean, granted, I have done this. I have gotten four dogs and I have gotten this big house, and this is what I have done. I still have these things, right? And it's just like I try to make allowances for other people because I understand that we all have things that happen, and I sometimes don't feel like that it's reciprocated, right? And I think that's also part of where I go sideways. But yeah, that was such a drag that day, and so I don't know. Like I said, I was just thinking about how I don't know. I'm gonna go off onto another subject just because I have out talked that one. But today, so because that's just what I'm doing. I'm just talking to nobody, to air, because I'm tired of being alone. Anyway, so today when I was out exercising in the yard with the dogs, I noticed that my neighbor, his dog was out barking for a long time, and I it's a weird thing with my neighbor. Like, my neighbor is a pastor, so he's super religious. And when I found out about that, I was really grateful that we had someone spiritual living next door. My son didn't quite feel that way, right? But my interactions with him have been really kind of odd. Like, they've just been odd. Like, one night, I can't hear out of this air, and it was dark, and I had worked I think I was working at Joann's and I had cleaned. I also cleaned after that. So I think I had worked like a 12, 14 hour shift, a long, long day. And I had parked my car and I was sitting in my car for a minute. And so I get out of my car and I hear him like, Dauneen, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. Well, I thought he was talking to me through, there's a fence in front of me. And then there was like a fence like 15, 20 feet over here, right? Well, he was here, and I thought he was here. So I was talking to him through this fence that was like 5 feet in front of me. And so I know he thinks that and also I believe in scream therapy. So both my son and I have had moments with this pandemic where we've lost our shit and just screamed in our home, right? And so I'm sure that they've heard that. So I think that he has this impression that we need some kind of saving or something. Um, because, and this is why I think this, he, and well, he said a couple of things, but anyway, this job that I just had, um, that I parted ways with, I was gone to lunch one day and I came back and they had told me that somebody had stopped in to see me, that there was a couple that came in asking about me. And I didn't ask what the man looked like, but I asked about the woman and I described this woman that they told me she had on a pink hat. And I described this woman who there was these people I had just taken care of their dogs and I had sent them a thank you card because they gave me a good tip, and then they sent me a Christmas card back. So I thought maybe it was them that had stopped in, right? So me being who I am, I contacted them again because I didn't want to be like rude. And I made these treats for their dogs. And I went over to their house. And like, I was so used to just going in and taking off my coat and stuff and playing with the dogs that that's what I did. Like, I went in and handed them the bag and took off my coat and shoes and got on the floor to play with the dogs. And I'm sure these people just thought, what the fuck is wrong with this woman? But I had thought that they had stopped into my work. So I just felt comfortable, right? I thought, oh, okay, cool, because anyway, it turns out, so like I noticed that they were acting kind of odd. So I got up and I'm like, did you stop into my work? And they said no. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing. And I just got my stuff and like literally ran out the door. Like I gathered my shoes and my jacket and ran out the door and sat on like in the front of their house and put them on the stoop that they have because I was so embarrassed. And she kind of came out the door and I'm like, no, this is just so awkward. Those treats are for your dogs. I'm going to go now. And I just left. It was super embarrassing. Well, so it wasn't them, right, that stopped in. So I'm thinking, who the hell stopped into my work? Because I don't know anybody in this town, right? That's literally was the only couple that I knew was the couple whose dogs I took care of. So I'm like, who could it have been, right? Well, then a couple of days later, I see my neighbor and his wife drive by and she has on a pink hat. And I'm like, why the hell would my neighbor stop by my job to see me when he lives next door to me, right? I mean, we're not close enough for him to be stopping into my job to see me, right? So I don't know that it was him, but I kind of feel like it was him. So it feels kind of weird because I think that they think that we need saving and I don't need saving, especially from a pastor. I, I have nothing against anyone's religion, but I am not comfortable with organized religion, nor will I ever be comfortable with organized religion. And so, and I told him that from the very beginning, that I thought it was great. He was spiritual. I loved the fact that we had a spiritual person living next door, but I am not comfortable with organized religion, right? So, it kind of blew me away again, I'm not sure it was him that stopped by my work, but I think it was. So it's just such a trip. But I don't know. I'm just babbling now. I'm tired and I got a lot done today. I went out and exercised with the dogs I did it again this afternoon because I really see that dude out there, that they out there in that canoe. I want to do that. So I need to learn that so that I can do that because it's not too late to do that. This is my ultimate life goal, right? This is why I'm here. This is what I visualized all my life, is being a part of the ocean. I didn't really realize it or remember it until we got here. So I am grateful that I got here for this. Now I just can't keep blowing shit up. I'm gonna end up freaking homeless if I don't stop it. And that's not funny. I don't know what time is it. I'm tired. I didn't sleep at all last night. It's only 6 o'clock. I need to stay up a couple more hours. So I'm gonna make a turtle. Um, did I ever show a picture of my turtle? I wonder if I have one. I know I was showing some of my artwork. I don't think I got into my turtle, not my good turtle. I don't know if I have a picture of it in here. I should. Over here. turtle. This one maybe? There we go. That's the one. That's the one. I need to make another one that's not, okay, well, I don't want to save the changes. Shush. I need to make another one that's not like this is a jungle. So I'm just going to make more of a turtle that's more natural to the area. But I still really like this, and the eyes on this glow in the dark. So it's pretty cool. And here's the underside of it. Yeah, I like the way this guy turned out. He's at my son's work for, I think, what do I have him at, 200? Not very much for all the work, but whatever. I'm tired. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have something to eat. So, I just don't know why I got on. Because I was thinking about stuff, and I think I'm like all wise and shit. I don't know. Because I was lonely. No, I'm just tired. And I need to eat. But I don't have any food. Alright. I'm gonna go.